In the shadow of the ancient Obudu Mountains in Cross River State, Nigeria, lies the quiet village of Ogbudu. For 20 years, the villagers have lived under a strange silence. The crops grow rich, the livestock multiply, but every full moon, blue lights dance on the misty peaks and something is taken, a goat, a child's favorite dog, or, in the old days, something far more precious. One stormy night, under a sky torn by lightning, a young farmer named Chinedu was returning for this cocoa farm when he found her. She lay on the narrow mountain path. A young woman no older than 22, skin dark and glowing like wet river stones. Long black braids adorned with cowrie shells and green beads. Her name was Amara. She wore only a simple white and green wrapper, and her feet were bare despite the sharp rocks. When Chinedu carried her into the village square, the firelight flickered across her face as though the flames themselves were afraid. The villagers gathered. Chief Okoro, tall and stern in his red and gold robes, gripped his carved staff. Mama Ngozi, the old herbalist with her colorful head tie, narrowed her wise eyes. Pastor Eze, Bible in hand, watched with deep suspicion. Amara opened her eyes. She looked at each of them and spoke their names she had no right to know. Chief Okoro, Pastor Eze, Mama Ngozi, Chinedu, whose sister Adana never came home. A cold wind swept through the square, even though the air was still. From that moment, the village changed. The next morning, Amara sat beneath the great mango tree in the center of the village. Children peeked from behind their mothers. Goats refused to pass near her. She spoke softly, but her words cut like a freshly sharpened machete. She told them the mountain had taken Adana 20 years ago. Not a leopard, not an accident. A deliberate sacrifice. The old priest had demanded one pure child so the village would prosper. Chief Okoro, then a young and ambitious leader, had agreed. Mama Ngozi had prepared the herbs that made the child sleep. They left little Adana on the mountain at midnight. The next morning, the rains returned. The crops exploded with life. The village grew wealthy in secret. But the mountain never forgets. Amara knew every hidden shame. She reminded Mama Ngozi of the cry she had ignored that night. She reminded the chief of the blood money he had accepted. She reminded Pastor Eze that even his powerful prayers could not silence the old gods when a debt remained unpaid. Chinedu, torn between fear and a strange pull toward her, asked the question everyone feared. "Who are you really?" Amara smiled, a small, ancient smile. "I am the girl the mountain kept. I am the debt that walks." As dusk painted the mountains purple, the entire village followed Amara up the misty path. Torches trembled in their hands. Drums sounded in the distance like a dying heartbeat at the sacred clearing where Adana had been left 2 decades earlier. Chief Okoro finally broke. He fell to his knees in the red earth and confessed everything. The fear, the greed, the terrible choice. Tears streamed down his proud face. Pastor Eze's Bible hung limp in his hand. Mama Ngozi whispered old prayers and new ones mixed together. Amara stood at the edge of the mist, radiant and untouchable. "The mountain has spoken," she said, her voice echoing as though many voices spoke through her. "The debt is remembered. Blood calls blood. Your sister forgives you. But the mountain never forgets." Then she walked into the thick white fog. Her figure grew fainter, until only her silhouette remained against the blue light that suddenly flared on the highest peak. The light burned bright for one final moment, then vanished forever. Silence fell. Chinedu stood staring into the mist, whispering to the empty air. She came from the mountain, but did she ever leave? Back in the village, the blue lights never returned. The crops still grew, but now the people tasted bitterness in their harvest. Every night, when the wind blew down from Obudu, they heard faint laughter in the trees. Or was it crying? Some say Amara was a spirit. Some say she was Adana. kept alive by the mountain gods. Others swear she was the mountain itself, wearing the face of a girl. No one knows the truth. And in Ogbudu, they no longer ask, because the mountain is always listening. What would you do if the past came walking down from the mist and it knew every secret you thought was buried? Would you confess like Chief Okoro? Would you reach out like Chinedu? Or would you turn away and wait for the next full moon? The Girl from the Mountain is more than a story. It is a mirror. Share this story. Tell someone who needs to hear it. And tonight, when the wind blows from the mountains, listen closely, because the mountain never forgets. What hidden debt are you carrying? Drop it in the comments.